Tell us, are you confident that we are going to see the 15-nation bloc sign a deal by the end of this year?
Yes, the RCEP agreement has been scheduled for a virtual signing ceremony on 15 November. The 15 participating countries have invested a lot of time, resources, and political capital in this trade deal. And I think they are determined not to miss the deadline this time.
What about the return of India to the RCEP deal? A lot hinging on this too.
I don't think India will rejoin the trade pact anytime soon. New Delhi remains convinced that joining the RCEP at this stage will hurt its domestic industries and open even more pathways for Chinese goods to enter its market. And on top of that, the COVID-19 pandemic and the deadly border clash with China in June this year have these incentives for India to distance itself from the RCEP. I think India now wants to leverage the ongoing restructuring of the global supply chains to win away from the production networks that have been centering around China and now to become a manufacturing hub in its own right.
Tell me, what does this agreement, if it's signed, actually do?
I think it is a huge mega trade deal, which accounts for a third of the world's GDP. And it is expected to deepen economic integration among the 15 participating countries through liberalization in trade in goods, services, and investment, and also through trade and investment facilitation. Currently, the 15 participating countries have various bilateral existing FTAs among them, which create the noodle effect. And the RCEP is expected to remove this noodle effect to make trade among these countries more effective and streamlined and easy. This is the expected economic benefits out of the RCEP. But more than that, the RCEP conclusion carries a strong political message of the participating countries' commitment to open and free trade at a time when the multilateral trading systems is cracking at its seams. And it also demonstrates the importance of ASEAN initiative and ASEAN centrality in the broader regional economic architecture in Asia-Pacific.
Tell me, though, OK, we've got probably a new president in the White House in the shape of Joe Biden, who's seen as much more of a multilateralist, and there's a strong possibility that he might return the US to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the TPP. Can the TPP live alongside RCEP, or would one usurp the other?
First of all, I don't expect the TPP with the US in it to happen anytime soon. The anti-free trade sentiments are prevalent now in the US from the left to the right. And at the recent presidential election, nearly half of the American electorate voted for President Trump, who had politically thrived on anti-trade platform. And President Biden will have to attune himself to this trend. And in the campaign trail, Biden talked about fair trade, not free trade. And there is no mention of the TPP in the list of international agreements that the Trump administration had withdrawn the US from, and Biden has promised to bring the US back in. So I think, as Biden already said, he will not rush into any new agreements, new trade agreements at this time, and instead will focus on putting the American economic house in order first.
Yes, as you say, he said he'll put the American House in order first. Does it matter here, though, in terms of a change at the White House for a lot of these countries in ASEAN? How do you think we can see some of these relationships mended or changed? Or in your view, does it kind of stay the same regardless of who's in the White House?
I think it is mixed reaction and response. On the positive side, ASEAN countries expect the Biden administration to return to multilateralism, especially ASEAN-led institutions of regional cooperation in the region, and also to reach a certain stability and equilibrium in the U.S.-China competition. So there is a lot of hope there in the sense of more stability and predictability in the U.S. engagement with the region. But at the same time, the Biden administration will have to deal with a huge challenge domestically. So the concern remains whether the U.S. can engage meaningfully with the region in the coming time.